We're going to be talking about the eclipses that are coming up in August. And yes, it is already almost eclipse season. So we're currently mid-June, and the upcoming eclipses happen on August 12th and August 27th, respectfully. First, we have a solar eclipse in Leo. And if you watch my previous eclipse videos or you got an eclipse reading, you know that this is the beginning of a new eclipse cycle, which started back in winter of 2026. And that is in the axis of Leo and Aquarius. So what that means is that the nodes in the sky, also known as the nodes or points of destiny for the collective, are shifting into a new zodiacal axis, meaning they're working on a different personal archetype or a different area of our life and a different personality as we express it through that area of our life. Of course, we all are comprised of all of the 12 zodiac signs. They just get expressed in different ways, and sometimes more potently if we have planets in those placements. But nonetheless, every single zodiac sign is part of us. And these nodes of destiny, as they travel through the sky, are pointing us in the direction of our own destiny. It's a really good cheat sheet or cheat code for life would be to look at a transit chart and see where the north node is, and when in doubt, kind of point your arrow in that direction. And when you work with astrology and personal birth charts or get astrology readings, we're always able to take that information and tell you or show you exactly what area of your life pinpointed that the north node is in, or that you are meant to focus on. This is why astrology and getting astrology readings is so beneficial, because it really is an exact science that is deeply personal to you. So my goal with these eclipse seasons, we've been doing them for years now, every 6 months, and if you've got one, you know, the goal during these, eclipses are very potent activation points in the year. They happen twice a year, and they're, like I always say, it's when life happens to us, instead of us kind of sitting back and going with the flow. It's, changes happen, things are removed, things are added. It's when really big life changes and shifts, and also inner shifts and transformation occurs potently. And so by getting a eclipse transit reading, you're able to understand and prepare for and anticipate exactly what area of your life is up for transformation, or where to expect these changes. And when we work with astrology, of course, we're working with the astrological archetypes. We're looking at what version of me and how I show up in this area is wanting to be fully expressed or to evolve over these next couple of years. So because we're coming into a new cycle, or we've started a new cycle as of winter 2026, there's a whole new axis or area of your life that wants to evolve and grow. And there's a whole new version of you that wants to be expressed. I'm sorry, my nose is very itchy right now. And at the same time as we've been starting a new cycle, we're also ending the old cycle. So back in winter of 2026, we had the Virgo solar eclipse, which ended the actually it was in fall now 2026 that ended the Virgo part of the cycle. And in August, we're ending with the lunar eclipse in Pisces, the Pisces part of that axis, because Virgo and Pisces are on their own axis, meaning they're opposite each other, working on a specific area of your life. And now those nodes shift onto a new axis, always opposite each other, into Leo and Aquarius, which are opposite signs. So what that means is, because this lunar eclipse in Pisces is the full ending of the previous eclipse cycle, and because Pisces is the final sign of the zodiac, there's going to be, by the time we get to this eclipse, there will already have been really big endings happening in your life. Now, the node moves out of Pisces before we get to the eclipse, interestingly, although the moon is in Pisces when we're in the actual lunar eclipse. The moon is in Pisces, but the node has moved out of Pisces. So what that means is we're already in a new energy, yet the moon is in Pisces, kind of pulling us back to that which has already ended. And Pisces is a sign of compassion and healing and communing with yourself and going slow. Slow enough to get clear and to really hear your intuition, to hear your heart, and to understand why endings, right? It's the wisdom of the surrender to the endings. And so this coming August eclipse season is just a massive it's marking the end of one cycle or timeline and the beginning of a new one officially, because now we're just fully moved into this new nodal axis. But again, between now and August, we're going to be in the ending, the grief, the understanding, and the kind of like self-compassion part, holding ourselves in a bit of a container before we get a chance to fully move on into a new energy in the fall. So right now it's mid-June. It's June 16th actually, and we're peaking in the year up to June solstice, summer solstice. That happens at June 21st. And that's kind of this journey that we take from deep winter solstice all the way up to June solstice. And we hit this kind of mountaintop or this peak of energy. And then from there, we start to slowly decline, ease, go into a little bit more of a yin energy. And, yin energy, feminine energy is naturally more contemplative, more inward. And so this is really a great time to start beginning to anticipate again what's coming 16, 7, 8, 9, 20. We have about 5 days until we hit that solstice point. But then there's a slowdown. And what we can be doing is tuning into where we're at in this upcoming eclipse cycle, and start to focus on what that north node, especially since it's only going to be in Pisces until July 25th, what it really wants us to, or how it really wants to work with us while it's still in that sign of Pisces. This is really, really important because the nodes take a couple of years to travel through each sign, say a year and a half times 12 signs. That's, quite a bit of time in between revisiting the same nodal point. And wherever the north node is in the sky really is pointing us to the best use of our energy, and the best focus for us at that time. And Pisces is all about giving yourself time and space out of the world and out of reality to nurture the other side of reality that isn't seen. And that's the fact that there is much more than what meets the eye, and we have different guidance systems, and there's a whole creative realm. There's a realm of devotion. There's a realm of divine rest and union, that's available to us at any given moment here on Earth. Really strong Pisces people, if you know any of them, they're masters at communing with the other side, even if that means they love and value their sleep quite a bit. Well, what is sleep except besides you giving yourself permission to tune out of life for a good 8 or 9 hours every night? And again, those good Pisces, they really love their sleep because they understand that Earth is taxing and tiring, and sleep is a little break from life. And if you really start to go deep into that, there's so much that we can explore in our sleep. We can teach ourselves to astral travel. We can acquire, that's how I learned to be a quantum reader, and how I learned astrology was I understood that I can put my soul to work at night, retrieving all of the knowledge and wisdom that I've already acquired in other lives across different lifetimes and just bring it back into this body. And I would do that when I was first starting up as a quantum reader. I would do that every night before bed. I would put my soul to work, and I knew it was happening because of the dreams I was having and the awarenesses and the messages. And then, of course, the growth of my intuitive gifts, which came extremely fast, faster than you could ever dream possible. But that's the realm of Pisces, is fantasy and beyond belief. And when you are attuned to that Pisces energy, you have the gift of trust in God, trust in the universe, and faith. And as we talk about endings and this Pisces Virgo nodal axis ending, and the time between now and that eclipse being, a time of endings in your life, whether it's jobs, relationships, careers, dreams that you thought were it for you, a future that you thought was planned and secure, a life routine that was really working for you that isn't anymore, of, you name it, right? Even actual physical deaths of family members or friends that are slowly departing. We are all moving through our own version of these difficult endings. And at the end of the day, why be on the spiritual path if you haven't, or if you aren't in the process of mastering this surrender and this faith? Because at the end of the day, there's some big things that you can't control, that you only just have to throw up and say, I have faith that even though this is hard, it's going to work out for my best, because we are in a harmonious system, even though it doesn't always feel like it. Faith is so extremely important on this path and on this planet, especially with all of the kind of chaos that ensues here. And this is something that Pisces teaches us. And this is something that in these final moments of this Pisces North Node collectively, is that we really get to slow down and start to really value and really tune into this Pisces energy while it's here, because it's not going to be here much longer. We're talking just over a month. If you were going into an experiment and that involved not sleeping for the next year and a half, because you were going to be tested of how well you could stay awake, and the data scientists are ensuring you'll be comfortable and it's safe and all of these things, but you've signed up for this experience, and knew it started in a week, how much would you value your sleep between now and the next week if you knew that was coming? And in a way, that is coming, because Pisces, like I said, the North Node will only travel through Pisces every 20 years or so. It's going to be a while before we get the gift of this energy that we've been in for the past year and a half or so, of surrender, right? Like, you can look back on your life over the past year and look at all of the ways that you've been gifted time to slow down, time to focus more on yourself, how the universe has resourced you in whatever way, or supported your surrender, really, whether that's a supportive partner, or paid time off work, or business opportunities that have come in that have afforded you more space to rest, and not be like grinding all the time, right? There's so many different ways that this can happen. But during the Pisces North Node, if you're really flowing and surrendering and having faith and following your path, then you will have found that you've gotten space to reflect and to get quieter and to rest more, and to kind of clear up space to tune into your heart and your soul, and just be there, right? Pisces is the nun, the monk, the one who gets to just pray all day and have their needs taken care of, right? And so again, it's this potent last month of getting to be in this Piscean energy before the North Node moves into Aquarius, and we're in a whole new world then. Aquarius is all about technology, innovation, future thinking. You know, when I think of Aquarius, I think of like aliens and disclosure and AI and data centers and new jobs and new technology and things moving faster and new communities and all of these things, right? It's a much different energy than Pisces is. So we have 1 month left. We're almost at solstice, and you will notice, if you're in flow with the seasons, you'll notice a call to slow down after that solstice peak on June 21st. And in that slowdown, I highly, highly recommend that you take some space to really value and suck up all the nectar that you can from this Pisces North Node. And of course, if you want support in knowing exactly where to focus, you can book an eclipse transit reading with me. So again, because eclipses are such potent, personal, transformational moments, this is why I love to offer this session, is because it lets you know, and that's the gift of astrology. It's why we do it. It tells you what to expect based on your personal rhythm and who you are. These are very personal readings. And of course, I'm an intuitive. And so I'm not just reading the birth chart. I'm also reading your quantum field and, you know, receiving messages from your own higher self and sharing those. So you might have a, you know, transit that's similar to someone else's, but the message will be profoundly personal just for you. So it will help you in this next month to focus and to know exactly what might come up. And that is to bring peace and calm to this life that we live, and to give us, you know, the gift of astrology is to give us a bit of a heads up of what's coming, and so that we can prepare our nervous system so we can know what to expect. And we can even in advance, even just listening to this video, hopefully puts you in a mindset of just being in deeper harmony with the seasons. I record every 2 weeks a solar or lunar update. I just did one yesterday for the new moon in Gemini. And like I said, on June 21st is summer solstice, which is the peak energetic point of the year where we've climbed our mountain for the year. And from that point, we're actually on our way down. We've done our planting, we've done our sowing, and now it's about maintenance. And eventually we get to fall harvest season, kind of looking back on what we've grown this year. And also an interesting thing is that the North Node moves out of Pisces, like I mentioned, on July 25th. And that is also the Mayan calendar day out of time. That day, and particularly that the week after, the 5 days or so after, is really this like portal of nothingness, of no energy. I always recommend that people, and I do this myself, I take that week off of work because it really is the void in between like the ending and the beginning of a new cycle, where like the way that I could describe it energetically would be like being in a vacuum that has absolutely no like energetic imprint at all, right? So you're just there and there's nothing. It's like maybe you've ever felt extremely bored with nothing calling your interest, just extreme neutrality. And so it's a really lovely time to take quiet space and contemplate, because when you're in a vacuum of nothingness, you're there presented with yourself. It's almost like, you know, we talk a lot about attuning to the present moment and entering the void, so to speak. And that is the void, the day out of time and the days afterwards. So it's a much easier way to access the void and to get the kind of clarity and the gift of awareness that comes from that. If you really give yourself the space, you will also find that your energy to work and to be around people and to be like a human it's very taxing at that time. So again, that's why I recommend that people take the time off work. But the interesting thing, like I said, is that's when the nodes, which are our destiny points in the sky, always pointing at us like, okay, what's happening? Where are we moving now? It shifts into Aquarius over that time. So it's a really nice time to give yourself some space to be in the threshold between the Pisces energy that, again, the lunar eclipse is, the moon is in Pisces at that time. But the north node's in Aquarius. And so we're in a threshold. We're, like I said at the beginning of the video, we're between the old earth and the new earth at this time. It's a really exciting summer on that wavelength. But if you haven't necessarily mastered the peace and the surrender of Pisces, it might feel more like chaos. It might feel like a lot of fears are popping up. And those endings that are coming or that you can see happening, they might just be triggering more fear or suffering rather than more surrender and kind of peace and understanding. So I really encourage everyone to take time. Once the solstice peaks, it's kind of going to be life as per usual until June 21st, 22nd. And then at that point, take time and understand, okay, there's a shift happening now. And it's not just a personal shift with me and my solar year, but it's also like a, new earth rising kind of energy coming after this really big eclipse cycle that's happening in August. So as I mentioned, the solar eclipse is August 12th. The lunar eclipse is 2 weeks later on August 27th. My eclipse transit readings are open for booking now. I start recording them. So these are recorded readings. I don't do them live with you, but I record myself and your birth chart, and I'll send it to you when it's done. You go on my website and book a time, and I record at that time. So you can expect to get your reading within 24 hours. Sometimes I do get backlogged and it takes me, 12 hours or a little bit more. So I give myself about 24 hours after your booking time. But the nice thing is, if you hop on now, there's only 15 days of readings available. I do always book up. And I only do a limited number of them because I only have so much energy. And of course, I'm going through my own eclipse cycle. So I stop readings. I just do eclipse transit readings at this time. You could book it as early as July 27th if you like to be really prepared for the eclipses that will be happening 2 weeks later, or you could book it kind of mid-eclipse season. But right now, it's pretty open, so you can have your pick of dates. So whether or not you do book an eclipse transit reading with me, I hope this video has helped you just kind of settle in and understand what's coming energetically between now and August. And please pass this video along, or if you are, I'm definitely getting that eclipse transit reading, then I would love it if you would share this video and or the booking link with someone that you think might enjoy it as well. And that's all for today. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you later.